Well, I'm thinking it's been a long time since I've really done anything in earnest in here. I've just been really busy and tired and whatever. But I have this little setup. So that's the size of my hand. That's a 10-inch or 250mm telescope. But we have a lunar eclipse tonight, and I am thinking that it might be very nice to get a I'm just looking, I've left that cap off. That was a bit silly of me. Okay, so I have on this side I have an 80mm aperture 600mm telescope piggybacking on this, and that gives me about 2 degrees of sky, which is about 8 times the moon. Oh, 4 times the moon, sorry. 2 degrees, the moon's half a degree. And this one here is the bottom one. It's got a 2.5 meter focal length with a 250mm aperture. We talk about focal ratio on these. So the focal ratio on this one, which is the aperture, the focal length divided by the aperture, that's an f10 and that's an f6.3. But I don't want to measure at f10 tonight, because if I do it at f10 I can't get the whole moon into the shot. But I do have over here somewhere a focal reducer sitting down in here. I think there it is. Focal reducer 6.3 focal reducer from f10, and that drops my focal length down to around 1800 millimeters, and with that I can just fit the moon into a shot using my I'm going to use a digital SLR. This one here, it's a non-modified one. I've got a modified one. I also have a dedicated astro camera that's designed for deep sky objects, but I've never really got working well. But that sensor on that would mean that I don't actually get the full moon in either, so I will just use, the moon is very easy to image. It's very bright, even when under eclipse, and so it's not hard to get an image of the moon. Whereas if you're doing nebula and galaxies, particularly galaxies, they're a real pig. So you can see how much time it's been. I've got a bit of cobweb over there, but I just remove this. That just stops the thing from moving. I'll put that in my pocket, and I just push this and I roll open the roof. As simple as that. So I'll get this little G-clamp to stop it rolling back when I get it out of my pocket. So just put that little G-clamp onto there. This whole observatory is a home-built, designed thing. It's all timbers. And here's from my dad's got a sawmill, and he provided the timber. And he provided all the floorboards, and I've got a big pier underneath here that I actually bludged from a place I used to work. That's 150mm, I think. I can tell you that because I've got a 6-inch rule. That is 150mm square with a 1 centimetre wall thickness. So it's a very sturdy, and it's filled with concrete. And it goes about 800mm, 80 centimetres into the ground. So that's pretty straightforward as far as And this is my leveling plates. I got this machined up with favours. And there's my homemade setup for balancing the telescope all up. But I've got a bit of dust on it. I've got a computer here to run the camera. And normally I've got all cables running underneath here across to monitor and keyboard over here, but it's been so long since I've done anything in here. Actually, it's really since I got the Buick that I've been too busy working on the Buick and not enough time to really think about this. But we've got the sunset just happening over here, and the moon will be rising up here, and the moon will rise up here, and I'm hoping that it'll come out. I'm hoping it won't be directly behind those tallish trees there. That's the only bit that's obscured. But I think it should come up out here. But by the time the eclipse begins, it should be up around 30 degrees or something, I think. So it should be up in this sort of area, and it should be clear. And as you can see, we've got a little bit of wispy cloud, but the forecasts are positive. So I'll do a bit of fiddling and get the camera mounted and computer hooked up and see what I can do. So I have the camera on at what's called prime focus. So the light in this telescope, the light comes in, and there is that needs a little dusting. There is a main mirror at the back, which you can see reflecting there, and then a secondary mirror here. So the light comes in through here. That's a corrector plate. Just here is a plate. You see with that bluey sort of tinge to it. That's that plate corrects the image, and then that goes back to that primary mirror up to the secondary, and then comes out through here, and it's now going straight into the camera. So that gets me an image straight out the back. So now I'm starting to go through the sort of electrical setup and looking for appropriate cables and so forth. I have a lot of cables, appropriate and otherwise. So I need to make sure that this cable here is not being to the camera, doesn't get pulled tight at any stage. And I want to connect my telescope to this computer. And so I will go about doing that. Thank you everyone for coming. That's Des Cannings on trombone. Paddy Kelly on keyboards. Trevor Kettlewell on drums. Oscar Peterson on bass. James Bauer on sound. And Graham Kettlewell on trumpet.